Without your magic, you're nothing. Nothing at all. I've heard the stories about you. About how terrifying you are to face. But now I know you're not even close to being scary.
His expression thoughtful, John looked down at his hand that had held the flame sword. He had felt an interesting feeling when he had attacked the Iron Monarch's armor, but it was eluding him at the moment. Looking up as the Iron Monarch came close, John drew his silver sword and flicked on his shield, lifting it up until it covered the bottom half of his face. Getting into his stance, he summoned a dozen flaming spears to shoot toward the rapidly approaching giant, only to see them fizzle out on the Iron Monarch's enchanted armor.
Try as much as you like, Mage. At the end of the day, you'll have no choice but to admit that I am too much for you to handle, just like your predecessors.
Like a bull, the Iron Monarch charged across the battlefield, his boots sending clods of dirt flying into the air. John waited until he was a dozen feet away before moving, slashing out with his silver sword at the giant's ankle. Ignoring the attack, the Iron Monarch brought his hammer down in a wide arc, trying to crush John's head. Lifting his magical shield, John lunged forward, catching the head of the hammer with the edge of his shield. Feeling the powerful force radiating through to his arm, John twisted his sword wrist, using the connection between his blade and the Monarch's ankle to accelerate his sideways movement. Deflecting the hammer into the ground, John slipped behind the giant man and stabbed up toward his waist. The edge of his sword skipped off of the metal plates, drawing a thin scratch on the dark armor. Despite the disappointing results, John didn't stop. Spinning around, he hacked at the same spot, managing to lay another strike over it before being forced to dodge a backhanded swing. Ducking underneath the huge hammer, John slammed his shield toward the side of the Iron Monarch's knee. But a massive boot kicked him back, his feet leaving furrows in the ground as he slid away. With a roar, the Iron Monarch hoisted his hammer above his head and brought it down again. John flashed a dozen feet away, his feet wreathed in flame. Slamming his hammer into the spot where John had just been, the Iron Monarch turned his head slowly to stare at John.
How pathetic. Take his magic away and all he can do is scurry around like a dog with his tail between his legs. Where is this legendary strength that people speak of? Don't tell me that the eternal flame can't even beat a big, dumb warrior.
John pointed his sword at the exquisitely carved breastplate the Iron Monarch wore.
That armor you have, where did you get it?
What does it matter to you? Bow down and submit to me, and I will leave your city intact. Otherwise, I will raze it to the ground and slaughter your people.
I was asking, because there's no way that you were able to put it together yourself. You say my magic is weak, that you surround yourself with mages and hide behind armor a mage created.
Enough! We are wasting time! Attack!